Okay, starting with de Broglie's hypothesis, it is pronounced as de Broglie, not de Broglie. So in 1924, Prince Louis de Broglie proposed that if light has dual nature, then even matter has dual nature. Matter is composed of particle. So matter may have wave-like properties. Matter is described using energy and momentum, and to describe wave, to write the characteristics of wave, we have wavelength and frequency. So according to him, when a particle moves, wave is associated with it. This is a particle. If it moves, wave is associated with it. Now a particle has energy E and momentum P. So here the formula of momentum was given, that is P is equal to E upon C. C is the speed of light. Now according to Einstein's theory of relativity, this equation is valid for massless particle and the particle traveling with the speed of light. Now we know that photon is massless particle. Secondly, it travels with the speed of light. So I can use here this equation is also valid for photon. I can use this equation for photon. Now Einstein has given me the energy of photon, that is h mu. So we'll substitute at place of E h mu. Here we have substituted. Now what is mu upon C? Mu upon C is nothing but 1 upon lambda. So I'll substitute at place of mu upon C, that is 1 upon lambda. So here the formula for momentum becomes h upon lambda. Now this equation is a magical equation because wavelength is the property of wave and momentum is the property of the particle or matter. So both the things are here. That means if a particle moves, wave is associated with it. So this equation came to be known as the magical equation, and whatever wave is associated with the moving particle, that wave is known as matter waves. Now the wave associated with the moving particle having mass m and velocity v, that wave has frequency given by the formula E upon h, and that wave has wavelength given by the formula lambda is equal to h upon p. Now this formula for wavelength is derived from this equation, and this wavelength came to be known as de Broglie's wavelength. And after substituting the value of momentum, that is m into v, mass into velocity, this relation came to be known as de Broglie's wavelength. Now as we are talking about the particle, let's consider a particle having mass m and moving with velocity v. So the kinetic energy of that particle will be given by the formula half mv squared. Right, from this formula we can obtain the formula of velocity. Let's take 2 in the numerator on left hand side and mass in the denominator on left hand side. So we obtain v square, taking square on left hand side, that becomes square root. So this is the formula of velocity. We'll substitute this formula of velocity in de Broglie's relation. Now here I have substituted at place of velocity 2 kinetic energy upon m. Now in this term I'll multiply m in the numerator and n in the denominator. So in the denominator I obtain m square. So I'll remove 1m out of the square root. So that m in the denominator and this m will get cancelled, and what remains in the term, that is 2ek into m. Now this formula, that is h upon 2 under square root 2 into kinetic energy into the mass of the particle, is the formula of the wavelength. Now if a particle is moving, or if a particle is having mass m moving with velocity v, that particle is moving having mass m, velocity v, then the wave associated with that particle will have wavelength given by this formula. Now let's talk about the charged particles. What if charged particles move, then the wave associated with that charged particle will have wavelength. What will be that wavelength? So for a charged particle, that charge is q. Suppose the charged particle having the charge q, it has started moving from rest through potential difference v, that is the voltage applied. So what will be the work done? The work done by that charged particle will be q into v. So that work done is nothing but the kinetic energy of the particle. So kinetic energy is q into v. Now if a charged particle is moving, the wave associated with that particle will have wavelength given by this formula, that is h upon under root 2 into mass into kinetic energy. Now what is the kinetic energy? Kinetic energy is given by this formula, that is q into v. Let's substitute. Now this equation holds good for all the charged particles. If it is a proton, then you'll substitute mass of proton and charge of proton and the voltage through which the proton is moving, and if it is electron, you will put here mass of electron and the charge on electron and the potential difference through which the electron is moving. Let's consider that example over here. Before that, this equation is not applicable when the voltage through which the particle is moving is in kilovolt. If it is kilovolt, if it is in kilovolt, that means the speed of the particle is close to the speed of the light. In that case, this equation will not hold good, and this equation is not applicable. So to apply this equation, we will have to take the value of potential difference in volts. Now let's come for electron. Electron has charge E and it is moving through the potential difference V in volts. Specify कर दिया भाई, volts में है. Now we have substituted whatever I have told the substitution, that is mass of electron, charge on electron, and the potential difference. H is Planck's constant, substitute that value. 2 into mass of electron, I have substituted that value. Q is the charge on electron, that is 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb, and V, that is potential difference in volts. After calculating all these numbers, I obtained the number as 1.228 into 10 raised to minus 9 meter. What is 10 raised to minus 9? It is nano. So I'll write this as 1.228 nanometer upon the denominator remains the same. Now if a charged particle, that is electron, moving, so the wave associated with this charged particle will have wavelength given by this equation and in nanometers. Now after the existence of photons was postulated, मतलब भाई जो लाइट निकलती है पार्टिकल्स के फॉर्म में निकलती है और वो पार्टिकल्स क्या है, फोटोन, ये पोस्टुलेट होके प्रूव हो गया. इट वाज एक्सपेरिमेंटली फाउंड दैट इलेक्ट्रॉन्स विच आर सब एटॉमिक पार्टिकल एंड एटॉमिक पार्टिकल्स लाइक प्रोटॉन एंड न्यूट्रॉन ऑल्सो एग्जिबिट वेव प्रॉपर्टीज. भाई इनके पास भी वेव प्रॉपर्टीज है. नाउ इलेक्ट्रॉन्स मूव मीन्स वेव इज एसोसिएटेड विद इट, तो वो वेव का वेवलेंथ फ्यू एंगस्ट्रॉम्स में है सपोज, और एनर्जी, पार्टिकल है इलेक्ट्रॉन, तो इलेक्ट्रॉन विल हैव सम एनर्जी. सपोज द एनर्जी ऑफ इलेक्ट्रॉन इज अगेन इन फ्यू इलेक्ट्रॉन वोल्ट. नाउ टू ऑब्जर्व द वेव नेचर ऑफ इलेक्ट्रॉन, we will perform slit experiment. Slit means single slit and double slit. Both the experiments are being performed. Now in this experiment, the main thing is to keep into consideration is that width of the slit should be comparable to the wavelength of the wave associated with the electron. Now here the wave associated with the electron have wavelength in few angstroms, so the slit width should be of few angstrom. Now the wave property, the wave, after observing from slit experiments, it was confirmed. What was confirmed? Wave nature of electron confirmed. Now the wave property or the wave nature was also confirmed by experiments in 1927 by Davison and Germer in America, and in 1928 by George P. Thomson in England. Both of them has performed an experiment, and in that experiment they diffracted electrons by atoms in metal. They have taken a sheet of or a crystal, we can say they have taken a crystal, and the atoms inside that crystals have deflected the electrons falling on them. The beam of the electron got diffracted. So electron showed a diffraction pattern, also an interference pattern was also showed by the electron. When the interference pattern and diffraction pattern is shown means what? Electrons have wave nature. So by this, wave nature of electron was proved.